Welcome to the deep dive. You send us your sources, we pull out the key insights. Quick, entertaining, useful.
That's the idea.
And today, we've got a story that's pretty extraordinary. Almost hard to believe, actually.
Yeah. What's the source?
It's from excerpts of Macedonian printing entrepreneurship in transition.
Okay.
And our mission here is to figure out how this multi-million-dollar, really high-tech printing facility got built in what the source calls dirt-poor and war-torn Macedonia.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that contrast immediately grabs you. A state-of-the-art facility in that environment.
Right. It's a puzzle. You instantly wonder who did this?
So who is the driving force?
His name is Zoran Rusimanov. The source calls him a stereotypical visionary.
High price.
And when you hear his background, you kind of see why. His career didn't exactly scream printing tycoon at the start.
Where did he begin?
He was a TV music editor, even worked on a human rights concert in Budapest, believe it or not.
Okay, that's interesting. A creative side. There's some idealism there.
Seems like it. Maybe it helped later with understanding, presentation, design.
Could be. So how did he get from music editing to business?
Well, he shifted gears, became a traveling salesman for a musical instruments company in Belgrade.
Right. And apparently he was pretty good at it.
Good is an understatement. By 21, he was head of the sales department, managed 185 people.
185. At 21.
Oh.
Okay, that shows some serious natural talent in the business.
Definitely. But then, boom, Yugoslavia starts breaking apart.
A hugely turbulent time. Borders shifting, identities changing overnight.
Exactly. And Zoran finds himself back in Skopje, Macedonia. It must have been incredibly uncertain.
You'd think so. A lot of people would probably just try to lie low.
Not Zoran. He takes his savings and starts a chain of 11 stores selling electronic goods.
11 stores?
Yeah.
In that climate. Okay, he's adaptable and clearly not afraid of risk.
And he keeps learning. He has this big realization. It's not just what you sell.
It's how you sell it, marketing.
Precisely. That insight sends him off to Milan to study marketing.
Ah, Italy. And this is where the idea to connect people starts forming.
Yeah. It leads him to found his first company in '92. It was called Divine.
Divine.
Yeah.
And what made it special?
It was apparently the first in Macedonia to offer, the whole marketing package. Vertical integration, they call it.
So from designing the posters all the way to managing the sales team. A turnkey solution.
Exactly. Pretty forward-thinking for Macedonia back then.
Definitely. Very integrated. Okay, so he's got this marketing company.
Yeah.
How does printing enter the picture?
Well, all that talk about the paperless office.
Uh-huh. Still waiting for that, mostly.
Right. Zoran saw that, too. He realized paper products weren't going away. Demand was still strong.
Smart observation. So he dipped his toe in.
He started with design first, got an expensive computer, made layouts for clients.
But then he hit a snag, I bet.
Yeah. The classic problem. Clients loved his designs.
And then took them straight to a cheaper printer, cutting them out.
Exactly. Happens all the time.
So what did he do? Give up on design?
Nope. He decided if you can't beat them, join them. Or rather, become them. He decided to get into printing himself.
How? Start from scratch.
He looked for a partner, actually put an ad out, looking to merge with an existing print shop.
Seriously, an ad?
Yep. And it worked.
Okay.
Found a partner, and the source says they've been inseparable ever since.
Amazing. And so around here we get that quote about people, right?
Yeah. Wealth is in people, not in money. Really shows his philosophy.
And it seems like he lived that philosophy, too. Didn't he have incredibly loyal staff?
He really did. His secretary was with him 11 years, head of pre-press for a decade.
Wow. In any industry, that's impressive retention.
Yeah.
Especially through turbulent times.
It points to how he treated people, I think. He invested in them.
Like that apprenticeship program.
Yeah. A full 6-month program for all 40 workers, soon to be 55. He trained them himself, often.
So hands-on training, building loyalty. But he also delegated.
Apparently. He believed in giving responsibility, but he kept a close eye on the details. High standards were key.
Right, that balance. Empowerment, but also quality control. Okay, so the business is growing.
And they need better machines. More capacity, more advanced tech.
But getting money for that probably wasn't easy. Local investors, foreign banks.
Nope. He struck out initially, couldn't secure the funding he needed through the usual channels.
So this leads to the Dutch machine story.
This is one of the best parts. He finds a used machine he wants in Holland. Price tag is hefty 400,000 Deutschmarks, maybe 180,000 US back then.
A lot of money. especially with no investors lined up.
So Zoran goes to the Dutch factory owner and makes this audacious offer.
Let me guess, not much cash up front.
Hardly any. He offered $13,000, about 7%, and promised the rest over 3 years.
Okay, I could just imagine the owner's face.
Right. The Dutchman asks the obvious question, what's your guarantee?
And Zoran says,
Your trust.
wow, just
Wow.
the sheer nerve, but also, I guess, the conviction.
It must have been incredibly persuasive because the Dutchman agreed.
He actually said yes, based on trust.
He did. And Zoran repaid the whole amount in just 2 years, not even the full 3.
Okay, so the trust was earned back, big time.
Yeah.
That story tells you so much about his approach. Boldness, finding unconventional ways.
And delivering on his word. That integrity seems crucial. We see that boldness again, right, with the beer labels.
Oh yeah, the story about landing that brewery contract, that wasn't exactly standard market research.
Not at all. He needed to show them he could make their labels. So he just found some of their empty beer bottles.
Scan them and produce sample labels on the spot.
Bam. Instant demo. Super resourceful.
And it worked.
Landed him the contract. Became their exclusive printer. Just like that.
And wasn't there another story about him, like eavesdropping?
Sort of.
Yeah.
He overheard a potential client complaining about their current supplier, a Slovenian company.
And you just jumped in.
Pretty much. Went right up, offered his services, said, essentially, why import when you can get it better and cheaper locally?
Combining that directness with a kind of patriotic, buy local appeal. But also, it just made business sense for the client.
Exactly. Less hassle, maybe faster turnaround. He was solving their problem.
Okay, so all these wins, building the business piece by piece, it all leads up to the really big ambition, doesn't it?
The huge leap. Building his own brand new state-of-the-art factory.
Designed by his own firm, even. That shows how much they'd grown.
But the money needed. It was staggering. Like $2.4 million. And he had less than $100,000 in cash.
That's a massive gap. Where do you even start? Most people would just say it's impossible.
Zoran starts by deciding he wants the absolute best equipment, Heidelberg, the gold standard in printing.
Okay, aim high, but how to pay for it.
He goes direct again, contacts Alexander Hufnagel, Heidelberg's director for Eastern Europe, asks him straight up for credit.
Just like that. Calls up the head guy and asks for millions in credit.
Pretty much. Heidelberg naturally says, okay, but we need a bank guarantee, standard procedure.
Right. So he needs a bank loan first.
Right. So he puts together a detailed business plan, goes to Komercijalna Banka, Macedonia's second biggest retail bank, asks for $1 million loan, some of it using IFC funds.
Now, you have to remember the context here. Macedonia's economy wasn't exactly booming. High unemployment, banking system maybe not super robust.
Exactly. The source calls his loan application unprecedented. No one was really doing this kind of thing.
And if that wasn't enough pressure, what else was happening?
Just as he starts building the factory in this industrial park near Skopje, civil conflict breaks out, a war between Macedonians and Albanians.
Oh my God. So he's trying to manage this huge, complex construction project.
Well, while there are literally fighter planes, helicopters, police, army units right near the site, panic in the air.
The stress must have been unbelievable. How did he even keep going?
Sheer will, it seems. Meanwhile, he's still dealing with the bank. Komercijalna wants collateral for that $1 million loan.
Standard practice. What did he have to offer?
This is brilliant. He offers the new equipment itself, the Heidelberg machines he hasn't even fully paid for yet, as collateral. He proposed that the bank holds the title until the loan's repaid.
Wait, isn't that basically leasing?
He essentially invented a form of leasing on the spot without even knowing it. It was just a practical solution to the bank's need for security.
That's incredibly resourceful. Financial innovation born out of necessity.
And then he does something even more clever. He takes the fact that he got the bank loan,
Uses the bank's commitment.
as his equity to convince Heidelberg to give him suppliers credit for the rest of the cost of the machines.
So he leveraged the bank loan to secure the supplier credit. Wow. That's like financial judo.
Heidelberg did their homework, checked him out thoroughly, but eventually they agreed. Zoran had to personally guarantee it all, of course, put everything on the line.
He really bet on himself and his ability to make it work.
But he wasn't just focused on the money. He was thinking strategically about the long game, like with the maintenance center.
Ah, right. He convinced Heidelberg to set up shop inside his new factory.
Yeah. Offered them space rent-free. Why?
Right.
So he'd have instant access to spare parts and technicians, minimize downtime. Genius.
A win-win. Heidelberg gets a foothold, he gets premium support, and he wanted to become their rep too, right?
That was his ambition. Sell Heidelberg machines with financing options in Macedonia. Always thinking bigger.
Even when things went wrong, like running out of cash for building materials during a harsh winter.
He resorted to barter, trading printing services for bricks and mortar, whatever it took.
Just relentless problem solving. What about that huge VAT bill? That sounded like a potential killer.
Nearly $500,000 out of the blue, value-added tax. He had to do some complex financial juggling, basically borrowing against future VAT refunds he was owed, kept the project alive.
It's just one hurdle after another.
But somehow he cleared them all, and the vision became real. The source describes this amazing scene, the advanced Heidelberg gear, the NASA-like control panel, the cutters all being installed in this half-finished building.
Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Against all those odds.
Looking back, Zoran himself talks about his deep roots in Macedonia, his belief in the country.
But he also gets credit where it's due, right? He acknowledges the help he got.
Absolutely. Heidelberg, Commercialna, the IFC, his clients, his family. He stresses that network. You don't do something like this alone.
No, you definitely need that support system. What about his mindset? Fear of failure.
Seems almost non-existent. His philosophy was basically, there is always a solution, you just have to find it. Keep pushing.
That persistence is key. And his advice about involving suppliers.
Yeah, make them partners. Build relationships where they have a stake in your success. Like with Heidelberg, now they actually refer clients to him. It's mutually beneficial.
Makes sense. He also had some pretty direct views on how countries should be run.
Yeah, like a business. Politicians should be like CEOs, focused on results.
Very pragmatic.
Yeah.
And he saw potential for Macedonia.
Definitely. Especially in agribusiness. But he emphasized the need for foreign investment, which requires protecting property rights and fixing the legal system, basic foundations.
Sounds about right. And how did he view competitors, especially foreign ones potentially coming in? Was he worried?
Not really. He seemed confident, pointed out his advantages over, say, Slovenian printers' lower transport costs, his newer machinery, his push for ISO quality certification.
So competition didn't faze him. What was his reaction when rivals tried to, undermine him?
His response, he bought more land next door for future expansion.
Okay, that's a power move. Doubling down on his vision.
It really sums him up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
His whole story is just this incredible example of a can-do spirit.
Absolutely. It's resourcefulness, sheer belief, smart strategy, building relationships, all mixed with this local pride, but also a very global outlook.
It really is an amazing achievement, building something world-class under truly nightmarish conditions.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the story leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
It really does, and maybe the thought for you, the listener, reflecting on Zoran's journey is this. Where in your own life, your own work, could that kind of audacious thinking pay off?
Yeah. Thinking about financing differently maybe, or building relationships in a way that creates real partnership, where could that lead?
What are the nightmarish odds you might be facing that perhaps, just perhaps, could be overcome with that same level of self-belief?
And crucially, with the effort to build the right support network around you.
It really makes you consider the power of just one person's initiative, doesn't it? Even when things seem impossible.
Food for thought.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.